Many years ago, our farms were smaller. The fields of those farms were considerably smaller than what they are today. Modern farming has gone big, bigger machinery, bigger fields, less hedgerows, and less meadowland like this. At one time, every single farm diversified quite a bit. They all usually had some cattle and maybe some sheep as well. So they had pasture land or grassland or meadowland, call it what you will. Either way, before the days of herbicidal sprays and pesticides, all those fields were like this. Grassland in Nottinghamshire like this, and grassland that's so flower rich like this is now rare. It's difficult to find. Thankfully, this area of meadowland that I featured before at Eakring is still here. And talk about flower rich, and of course anywhere that's flower rich is always rich in invertebrates. It looks nice, doesn't it? This beautiful flower rich meadowland here at Eakring is, as you would expect, full of invertebrates. It used to hold good numbers of wall brown, which was a butterfly that was last recorded here in 2004, just before it disappeared out of Nottinghamshire altogether. Almost 20 years now since wall brown graced this meadowland. With it being so flower rich as this, it is of course invertebrate rich. Some really good species here. But the real beauty, I suppose, is what you can see now. It's just a glorious carpet of beautiful wild flowers. It's a terrific spot. It's a north-facing slope, and the bare field that you can see to the right of screen was also like this many years ago. Unfortunately, that was just one field that was lost. Thankfully, this has remained ever since. And part of the cutting of this for hay later in the year is done in 3 sections. It's done in this top half, or this top third where I am now. That is cut, and the following week the middle third is cut, and then in the third week the bottom third that you can see here is cut. That allows invertebrates and other animals to move from section to section rather than cutting it all in one go. It's done in 3 sections. It's a good practice. Now, not only have we lost the wall brown butterfly from both Eakring and from Nottinghamshire as a whole, but we seem to have lost a rather small, nondescript, rather drab looking macro moth, the Marsh Pug. It flies during the day, favours grassland like this. It occurred both here at Eakring Meadows further down the valley a couple of miles away, and also on a green lane inside the village of Eakring itself. But they're all long distance sightings now. There's been no records for many years, probably over 15 years since I last recorded it here. It is quite a difficult moth to track and to see in the field, but today I doubt I'm going to see it. I'm not sure that it's even here still, and the breezy conditions really put in pay to any serious attempt at relocating it here. In Nottinghamshire, elsewhere in recent years, recorded the species And of all places, a small pensioners' garden in the middle of Edwinstowe. That was a female ovipositing on mouse-ear chickweed, the favoured food plant. Also in recent years saw it on a small little nature reserve right in the centre of Forest Town in Mansfield, but not recorded it at either site since. I think there's a good chance that it's been lost as a breeding species in Nottinghamshire. But say it's a difficult species to see and to follow with the naked eye, who knows, it could easily be overlooked at a site similar to this. Trouble is, there's not many sites in Nottinghamshire similar to this. That's why we need to protect these meadowland areas that we have. Otherwise, once they're gone, they won't be making any quick comeback. And here's the main reason that I'm here in the first place to film this lovely meadowland here at Eakrim. Because about an hour ago, I had a painted lady such as this hurtle through the garden, heading north, straight through the garden and over the house and off. I wondered whether these were moving through. This is the first one I've seen, and it is, of course, on the deck. But Dillis and I found that in 2009, during the great invasion of the spring of that year, that at the peak times of butterflies moving through, at the onset of the sun disappearing behind a cumulus cloud, the butterflies stopped flying. They dropped into the field or the cover, whatever they were flying over at the time. That was all observed from the top of the hill where I am now. I think this is going to be a really good year for painted ladies. It certainly seems to be, and it's nice to get some decent views of this one. Such a powerful butterfly. A field like this, flower-rich field full of buttercups, harkens me back to my childhood and those days spent in the sleepy little village of Lamenting. Unlimited access to fields of pasture like this. They were all like this. Every single grass field was always like this. And then, I presume it was to aid productivity. Flowers such as buttercup and clover and everything were eradicated out of pasture land. All eradicated just so that that pasture land could be grass, and predominantly ryegrass at that. That's when the era of pure grass fields came into being, really. Many of you watching this, if you're under a certain age, that means younger than me, have probably never seen fields like this. You're only used to grass fields. It's an incredible shame that people don't get to do what I'm doing now. Sit in amongst a field of wild flowers. The scent from these buttercups and the umbellifers and the clover here is quite fantastic. But mentioning buttercups also takes me back to my childhood in another way. I don't know whether this was just a family thing or whether this was quite well known at the time in villages, and I dare say a lot of you is going to look at me gone out in this, because quite often it would be your grandma or maybe an auntie, one of those with a moustache and a beard, that would pick a couple of buttercup flowers while you're walking through a field and do that under your chin. Apparently, if your chin became yellow with the pollen off this little flower, you liked butter. I know, it's completely balmy, and I don't know whether I've got a yellow chin because I can't see without my glasses. Who knows? Chances are, though, 99 times out of 100, there's going to be pollen on any buttercup that you pick, so tickle your chin, you're bound to get yellow pollen on. So, as the old saying goes, everybody likes butter. But I dare say many of you have never heard of that saying. Or if you have heard it, it was a very long time ago when we were all little more than 3 feet high. No doubt it's one of those little sayings that originated in the country and in the rural villages of the UK that will be very soon completely forgotten about. Rather like fields such as this. It's a magnificent sight, isn't it? Beautiful English meadowland. Quite a nice view. It's just a shame that we've lost so much of this. Nobody seems to be in a hurry to try and put it back. That's perhaps the saddest part of all.